Good afternoon, my name is Vince Conlan and I'm the Chairman of the Repairs and Maintenance Interest Group. I'm an involved tenant and I've been asked to come along by Red Kite to have a nice chat with one of our heads of department.
Hi Vince, my name is Mark Haines, I'm Head of Asset Management.
What does your team actually deal with?
The asset management team is split predominantly into two separate sections. We've got the compliance team that look after all compliance related matters such as gas servicing, water treatment testing and prevention of scalding, fire alarms, electrical servicing, etc. And then there's a delivery team that looks predominantly after the maintenance and refurbishment side of housing and the delivery of our tenant promises.
Fantastic. Mark, do I have any choice that I have to have the work done in my home if I really want to or not?
Obviously certain aspects of the work that we have as a housing provider a legal requirement to deliver, such as gas servicing for example, so there would be a legal requirement for us to do that work. Similarly, if we're doing any refurbishment type work, say the fitting of a kitchen or a bathroom, and a tenant was dead set against having that work done, then there is an option to refuse the work. So it is a bit dependent on what the type of work is that we're looking to deliver.
Mark, so if I wish to do any DIY improvements in my own home, would that be possible?
Yeah, providing you get the relevant authorisation, which would mean that you would need to write into Red Kite, formally receive a letter back from us approving the work, then you would be allowed to undertake certain works in your own home. There would be elements of work that you wouldn't be allowed to undertake, such as gas and electrical repairs or the installation of gas boilers, for example. But if you get the relevant approval, we would allow you to install kitchens, for instance, bathrooms, and once you've got the approval, should you move out, there is a likelihood that you would be able to reclaim some of that money. We would do a post-inspection after you've installed the work just to make sure it was up to the relevant standard.
So is there any restrictions in any of the DIY improvements that I can undertake?
There would be restrictions, and we would say that the installation of, for example, laminate floors in flats, or certainly some types of flats, would not be permissible due to complaints of noise from other residents living in the block and the problems that can cause. There would be, again, like I say, a restriction on undertaking work to certain services such as gas and electric.
How can I get a feedback if it's been a good or a bad experience for any work that's carried out in my home?
Yeah, well, feedback to us is a big thing, and we do try to encourage tenants to feedback, anti-tenants and leaseholders to feedback on the work that we've been undertaking in their homes and around their homes, just to ensure that we can continually improve our service. So as I say, feedback is something that we actively encourage. We've got a number of mechanisms that we obtain feedback from, such as customer satisfaction surveys, post-inspection visits, and if we need to, a compliments and complaints process, which is a formal process. We like to record all feedback that we get, both positive and negative, and we do have a number of systems and mechanisms in place to review and learn from the feedback that we obtain.
So with the feedback, can I do the feedback at any time?
Yeah, I mean there are a number of specific forms that will be sent out. If you wanted to contact the project manager, for instance, in the asset management team dealing with that area of work, then you could phone them at any time. We do, as part of the work process, have a notification board left in properties, for example, with telephone numbers, which you can contact the site supervision of that work directly to provide any feedback as necessary. We've got a dedicated complaints officer or feedback officer that is available during working hours, so a telephone call to the customer services team or that individual directly would enable the feedback to be adequately given to us.
What happens if anything happens out of hours, Mark?
Yeah, we've got an emergency call out service. Currently we use a company called Astra Line that provides out of hours support to tenants, and will take incoming calls and then distribute those calls to the relevant contractors responsible for providing the out of hours services. We've got a gas contractor, for instance, who would look after all the gas related issues, and then Ian Williams would have tradesmen and operatives on standby to provide out of hours services as relevant, really, depending on the type of repair.
Oh, fantastic.